Mm, mm, mm. Boy, this shit is crazy, ain't it, y'all? I mean, you cannot win for fucking losing when it comes to these white UFC fans. I mean, how more obvious can they make it seem that this ain't got nothing to do with personality? This ain't got nothing to do with personality being boring, being cocky, all of these stupid excuses, being too tall, his limbs are too fucking long, these dumbass excuses that they come up with. A couple of weeks ago, these same UFC white fans, they were complaining about how much they hate Jon Jones because he ducked the Chael Sonnen fight. Right? I hate him. He's a coward. He's a coward. This and all this shit, trying to make it seem like, oh, they just love Jon Jones. Oh, up until he decided not to fight a fucking cheating ass motherfucker who just got his ass beat by another champion at a smaller damn division, right? But we supposed to believe, oh, this shit don't have nothing to do with race, right? Look at the shit that's going on, guys. Jon Jones cannot win for losing. Jon Jones, he said in the countdown in his build up to the Vitor Belfort fight, he said, look, man, they wanted me to fight this man at an 8-day notice. That means I would have only had 3 days to prepare for fighting him. You had all these white fighters calling them bitches and fans calling them bitches and all this kind of shit like that, And then all of a sudden, now since he can prepare for Chael Sonnen, like he says that he loves to prepare for his opponents. That, and what Jon Jones basically said is, what you guys don't understand is I attribute all of my success by preparing for my opponents. You feel me? This is what the man said. So now he's ready to prepare, and now he says, okay, let's go ahead and fight Chael Sonnen. I don't believe that he deserves the title, but if you guys want me to fight him that bad, and you guys are talking about how I'm fucking up the sport and canceling events, okay, let's go ahead and fight him. So now what does these same fans that was hating Jon Jones have to say now?
Jon Jones, now he's ready to fight Chael Sonnen. Oh, sure, give him 6 months and he'll fight Chael Sonnen. The fight won't be until April, and we know why they're fighting. To help the sagging ratings of a show nobody watches anymore. And that has now resulted in widespread criticism of Dana White for putting these two guys together. Yeah. Give me some insight into what's going on.
Damn ridiculous is all I got to say about that damn shit. You feel me? I mean, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at this man sideways as he is saying this. And I'm like, wait a minute. Weren't you one of the guys? Because this guy is one of the guys, along with all of them, that was calling Jon Jones this coward and this and that. And, oh, this is another good excuse for us to hate this dude and all this kind of stuff. But let's listen to what Daniel Cormier had to say about this same situation. Because when I heard Daniel Cormier's talk, then I was like, okay, now I'm hearing some shit that makes some damn sense. Listen to what he had to say.
Maybe, the fans, they ask for things in the moment, and then when it happens, they complained about it. So you got to be careful what you ask for. When they said, who do you want to fight? Chael Sonnen. Everybody said Chael. And then when the fight came to fruition, they wanted to kind of question it. But I don't think he deserves a title shot. He hasn't won a fight in that division. And I don't think that's even the case. It's him losing his last fight, which is the problem. I truly believe Dan Henderson should be fighting for the belt.
Now, if those were some real fucking, UFC fans that were non-biased and, they wanted to make it very clear that they were just as fair as someone like a Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg, the two guys who called the UFC fights, I hope I got Goldberg's name right. But anyway, see, those are what you call non-biased, commentators, broadcasters that really want to be honest. When they call fights It doesn't matter if the guy just killed his mama and he's getting in there to fight somebody. All they gonna talk about is that nice ass elbow that they land, or that nice ass takedown, that nice ass submission. They're not gonna talk about anything else that's going on outside of the fight that's actually occurring at the time. And this is how all UFC fans should be. But, you know, like I said, it's nothing wrong with hating somebody for no reason at all. But if you are going to hate somebody, at least fucking be honest about it. Be honest. You know, hey, man, I don't like the fact that, you know, this black guy came to our sport and he's freaking dominating. You know, just be real about the shit. Because the bottom, you know, this personality excuse and all of this, I don't like the guy for how he acts and all of this shit. Come on, man, just be fucking real. How many times have you been at McDonald's, Jack in the Box, or whatever fast food restaurant you go to, and you find yourself in the situation where the person that's taking your order just seems to look a little on the ghetto side, right? Tattoos on his neck, a teardrop on his eye, you know, talk all rough like he fresh out of prison. When this person is taking your order, did you ever really think about, did he just get out of prison? Did you ever think about his personality, what he does on his off time, what type of life he lives? You don't think about that, right? The only thing you're really thinking about is making sure that this motherfucker does not mess up your order, right? And you get your damn food in an orderly fashion. That's all you really care about. And the motherfucker makes sure he washes his hands before he fixes your burger or whatever, right? That is the only thing that concerns you. You are paying this person for their services. You come into McDonald's so that you can eat. So the food is hot. So it's exactly as advertised, right? This is the same situation with Jon Jones. When you pay your money, Jon Jones is giving you exactly what is advertised. A motherfucking fight. Win, lose, or draw, whatever. I'm giving you a fight. That's what you pay for. Okay? You don't pay for how he treats his wife. You don't pay for, you know, if he paid all of his taxes and all of this ridiculous shit. You're paying for the services that this man provides. All right? You know, like I just said earlier, I can't think of a more perfect example of the phrase, you cannot win for losing. And the reason why I'm saying that once again is because I wanted to read this recent message that I received on my last video, which was titled, you know, Racism in the UFC and the Emergence of Black Fighters. I got this one guy who just sent a message, which these are the type of messages that I predicted I would, you know, get in the video that I made. But basically, this is what the message says. I'm going to read the whole message. I always liked Anderson Silva, Rampage, and Evans, but I can't stand Jon Jones. He's too damn cocky. I probably will never like him. That guy needs to go up to heavyweight and get his ass beat. Now, don't you guys find it ironic? Not only is this person saying that he hates Jon Jones more than he hates Rashad Evans. Like I said, when Rashad Evans, he is, when you think of, you know, being cocky and all that kind of stuff like that, if you want to talk about being cocky, at the time when he was on top, you can easily say Rashad Evans was way more cockier than Jon Jones. You feel me? But see, what's even more crazy about what he says is, I find it ironic when he says, I probably will never like him. That tells you right there, this really doesn't have anything to do with cockiness. Like I said before, they use code words. You cannot say I don't like him because he's black, because that's not politically correct. They use code words. Then he says, I wish he would go up to heavyweight so that he can get his ass beat. And you know, that comment is really funny because I linked that comment back to when I was watching ESPN MMA Live, you know, on a couple episodes. The host of the show, he was very adamant, and a lot of people have been, a lot of, you know, these different, you know, writers and the media, the white UFC media, they have been so adamant in trying to force Jon Jones to move up to the heavyweight division. Why is that? See, all of this shit that I do is basically like mix and match. It's like finding little puzzle pieces, and you got to find the match to that little puzzle piece, right? Well, if you go back to what ESPN said about trying to force Jon Jones to move up to the light heavyweight, to the heavyweight division, and then when you listen to this comment of this guy saying, I wish he would go to the heavyweight division so he can get his ass beat, well, doesn't it make obvious sense that they're only saying this shit because they as the whole media, they're hoping that this man is put at a disadvantage? When have you ever heard of the media or fans trying to force a white light heavyweight champion to go to heavyweight? When have you ever seen it? You have never seen it, have you? You have never really heard people talk about Chuck Liddell, forcing him. You've never really heard people say, well, Jesus, Chuck Liddell, you've already beat 5 people in a row. Why don't you move up to heavyweight? Why don't you do it? They've never done that. They didn't do that to Forrest Griffin, who was damn near the same size as Jon Jones. They didn't, and he's more big-boned. He's more thicker. They didn't do that with Forrest Griffin, because as long as he was winning, that's all they wanted. They didn't want him to be at a disadvantage. Oh, but they want Jon Jones to be at a disadvantage. Talking about you done already cleaned out the division. You feel me? Come on, man. We know what time it is. We know what time it is. So bottom line is, Jon Jones is going to fight Chael Sonnen in April. I totally agree with Daniel Cormier. I was sitting there saying it before Daniel even said it. Does this man deserve to fight against Chael Sonnen? No, he doesn't. How the hell are you going to move? How are you going to get your ass whooped, right? And then be rewarded a title fight in your very next match. And then all of a sudden, now, like I said, when Jon Jones was saying it's not enough time, these same biased-ass fans were sitting here saying, oh, man, you should fight him. Oh, you a bitch. This and all this kind of shit. But now they want to talk shit about the same fight that they was criticizing Jon Jones for not taking 8 days in advance, with 3 days to prepare for it. You know why they wanted him to take that fight? They wanted him to take that fight because they want him at a disadvantage. They want Jones to be at a disadvantage. Listen to what the guy just said in the clip I showed you. What did he say? Oh, yeah, sure, now that you got 6 months to prepare. What the fuck are you talking about? Isn't this what champions always do? Fucking prepare? Like that's just some cheating shit. Oh, you know this guy, he only wins because he prepares for fucking fights, right? The fuck out of here, man. Shit is ridiculous. Anyway, man, bottom line, like I said, you know, Jon Jones is gonna fight Chael Sonnen in April. You know, it's a fucking sideshow. It is a sideshow. But the thing is, it was a sideshow even when they were criticizing it before. You know what I'm saying? It's just the hypocritical double standard that now they want to say it's a sideshow. And you know, maybe that's a little too harsh of words to say it's a sideshow. It's not a sideshow. It's just the fact that Chael Sonnen has no chance at all against Jon Jones. Chael Sonnen is nothing. Chael Sonnen does not know how to fight. You see that picture of him sitting there like a little ass scared boy? Because Chael doesn't know how to fight. all he knows how to do is grab a motherfucker and take him down to the ground. That ain't fighting. That's why my favorite sport is boxing. Because when you boxing, you gotta stand up and you gotta either take punches or learn how to not get hit. Charles Sonnen is one of them kids that we used to see at school who, soon as he started getting his ass whooped, he start grabbing. And everybody be like, oh, look at this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of person Charles Sonnen is. Did you guys watch that fight with Charles against Anderson Silva? Did you see when he backed up against the ropes, all of a sudden he start panicking and then he just drops to the ground like a fucking coward. All that shit that he was talking because the man does not know how to fight. He knows how to wrestle. But the problem is you're going up against Jon Jones, and Jon Jones knows how to wrestle better than you do. So the only chance you got is wrestling. You ain't going to out-wrestle Jon Jones. Man, Jon Jones is going to either knock his ass out or he going to take him to the ground and he going to submit him. And the shit is going to be over. This fight, I can't see this fight going no more than 2 fucking rounds. As far as I'm concerned, Charles Sonnen, he fucking knows he can't beat Jon Jones. But he's going to sell the fucking fight. And see, this is the difference, I would say, between me versus a lot of these biased-ass UFC fans. See, I'm going to tell you straight up, I like entertainment. I like cockiness. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me what Charles Sonnen does. You know, I think it's entertaining with all the type of shit that Charles Sonnen be saying. I mean, except for when he gets to the borderline racist shit. But when he's selling, you know, when he's talking about all this cocky shit that he gonna do to people and how he the greatest, I look at that as entertaining. But see, when UFC fans, white UFC fans, when they see a black person who's not even doing that, they want to call him cocky. Like I said, you guys heard people make the phrase, like, say for instance, your friend, you know, he gets a new car. You know, what do you say to him? You'll say some shit like, look at you, you think you all bad and shit because you got that new car and shit. You know what I'm saying? Look at, you know, coming over with some new Jordans on or some whatever, right? Look at you. You think you the shit because you got them Jordans on, don't you? This is basically how white people look at Jon Jones. White fans. I shouldn't say white people because, like I said, there's a small demographic group of white fans who actually are not racist, not biased. And those are the type of people that are like Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg, you know. But like I said before in my video, they are drowned out by the mass majority of white ignorant fans. And like I just said, when I was making that example, when you see somebody who got some new shit, or maybe they achieved some shit, or whatever the case may be, you say you think you the shit, but deep down you don't really believe that this person is arrogant and cocky. That's basically just a way of you saying he achieved something, he accomplished something, or maybe he got something that I don't have. And because of that, I'm going to call him arrogant or cocky. It's a crazy psychological thing that goes on with a comment like that. But this is basically the same type of treatment that Jon Jones gets. Jon Jones knocks out, you know, Lyoto Machida, leaves him sitting on the ground looking like he's damn near dead. And then he just walks off. The people who want him to lose so bad, they saying, yeah, you think you bad because you got him looking like he dead and shit. In a way, Jon Jones is almost forced to be the modern day Joe Louis. For those of you guys who don't know, and it's funny because I always say that Floyd Mayweather, in some example, is the modern day Jack Johnson. While I would say people like Andre Ward and Jon Jones, they are somewhat of the modern day Joe Louises. The reason why I say this is because when Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, when he was brought up, remember when Jack Johnson won the heavyweight title, He was hated because, because he was always smiling. He was beating him. He was considered cocky, flamboyant, and all of these stuff. All of these things. He had gold teeth. He dated white women, and this was like fresh out of slavery. He's kicking white men's ass, dominating the sport. So he's labeled as cocky, arrogant. They couldn't stand him, right? Do you guys know that after Jack Johnson died, or after he lost his reign, lost his title, they didn't allow another black man to fight for the heavyweight title for 22 years. Okay? And once they did, who was it that they allowed to fight? It was Joe Louis. So soon as they allow a black man to fight for the title again, he becomes dominant. And the funny thing is with Joe Louis, he was taught, and he was taught by his trainers, his advisors, everybody, to be as completely modest as you can. Don't raise your hands when you win, because it might ignite white people, to be enraged. Can you believe that shit? Don't raise your hand when you win, because it might ignite the white fans. Don't ever be seen, next to a white woman. Don't ever look like you are confident. You look as humble as you can. And when you look at Jon Jones after his victories, what does Jon Jones do? Jon Jones seldomly raises his hand. Jon Jones, he walks off. He sits on the ground, kind of like what Anderson Silva does. He doesn't even really celebrate. You know why? Because psychologically, people like Jon Jones, even Rashad Evans, if you watch the last couple victories, a lot of these black fighters, they are trying so bad to fucking prevent white fans from igniting into a hatred level that they try their best to be humble. And no matter how humble they are, they still get hated. They still get criticized no matter what they do. You feel me? Like I said, imagine like Jon Jones after he knocked out Vitor Belfort, after he knocked out Lyoto Machida, and like I just said before, left him on the ground looking like he was dead. Imagine if Jon Jones would have ran around the ring doing that little victory dance that Chuck Liddell used to do. Could you imagine how cocky that they would say that Jon Jones is? They're calling Jon Jones cocky when he walks away with his hands down and his head down. They still call him cocky. So we can only imagine how they would have treated him if he would have ran around that ring like Chuck Liddell. So anyway, Chael Sonnen, he gonna get destroyed in this fight. He got a better chance trying to convince somebody that he ain't never took steroids than he has winning this fight. That's pretty much all I have to say about this. And the hate meter is just going to keep rising for Jon Jones the more that he wins. They're going to try their best to keep trying to force this man to go into the heavyweight division so that he can be at a disadvantage. I mean, eventually he will go to heavyweight, but he's going to do it when his body grows into the heavyweight division. You don't just go from fighting at 205 to fighting 240 to 260 pound fighters. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say about this one. I'm on to the next one.